My name is Andrea Hutchison. My husband, Ed Hutchison, and I have three children, Melissa, Teresa, Nicholas. They're all out of the house. So I have to work. I don't have to work. I love to work. I do my job. Um, I was born and raised in California, a product of migrant farm workers. We did farm work in Fresno picking grapes, Hollister picking apricots, cutting apricots, and then coming back to Cork Run to pick cotton, chop cotton. So I grew up in the migrant setting, not knowing I was migrant, because neighborhood children uh, in the area where I grew up also did the same thing. We didn't realize we were poor because no one had anything. So neither did we. So we didn't feel like we were missing out on anything. I made my clothes. I learned to sew very early because that's what we did most of the time. We just bought inexpensive material and I made my clothes. And for Christmas, that's what we got. We got fruit and some nuts. Uh, Being the youngest of the family, I got a couple of toys, maybe a doll or a teddy bear or something like that, but that was it. I was lucky enough to find a gentleman that I fell in love with and brought me to New Jersey. He spoke Spanish before I met him, and so he fell into with the family. They loved him. They love him, and we came over here. We had our children. I was lucky enough to find a job in the Swedesboro school district. They were looking for a bilingual person to work with migrant education. A few years after I started working at Swedesboro in Woodstown, they consolidated this program. It's called Migrant Ed, Migrant Education, and it is Migrant Ed came to being in 1967 when they realized that there a lot of the children were missing or leaving school early to go to another town to educate. They were not catching up. They were losing a lot of their education by moving from place to place, from place to place. And Migrant Ed was supposed to, uh, let's say, help them keep up with the kids where they were in school. And this program has really been a godsend to a lot of children. We've New Jersey is one of six where they're the most migrant children migrating from place to place to place. What we provide for them, we start from everything. A family may come in to see the way they qualify. They come to see agriculture work or work in food processing or fishery from one school district to another or from one state to another. It could be like from Vineland to Buna, which is real close, but it's crossing school district lines that qualifies a child for migrant ed if the parent came to see work in agriculture or work in food processing or fishing or whatever. Landscaping does not count. But so when they come, they usually come without anything. And we're lucky enough to have so many people that are willing to give out their old beds or their old chest of drawers or their old tables or their dishes or they have too many glasses. And that's how we help them out. It's like helping the homeless, which they are homeless. So we help them get some of those things. We get the children registered in the school. We provide a summer school program for them, and in that we take them and we pick them up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Starting 6 o'clock, we start picking them up, and we keep them until about 6 o'clock in the evening, so that the parents could go out and work in the fields and earn more money for them. We provide an educational program, the reading and the science and whatever, math, the regular classes. And then we provide 3 meals a day. We provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack in between. A lot of our kids in the summertime live in hotels or live in poor, very poor conditions in farms. They're um, some have slept in cars, and I can say they do sleep in cars. Housing is very difficult to find. If they come late to the season, the blueberry season, uh, it's we can. There's a couple of hotels that we call and find out if they have a room available for them. Most of the time, they're not allowed to cook in those hotels, so then it becomes expensive because they buy um, food from whoever's cooking at the camp, and it usually costs approximately $5, and that's for whatever it is that they're serving and a drink. $5, it's like picking a box like this of blueberries. It's more than that. It's maybe a box and a half because they get paid like $3 for a box of blueberries. Now, can you imagine picking blueberries, tiny little blueberries, and filling a box up like this, like that, about 4 to 5 inches high, and like a case of whatever sodas,
That's hours.
and just get $3 for them, $3.25 maybe at the most. If they're in a camp where they get a ride, then they have to pay that ride, $5 a day, you know. So there's a lot of, they're not making a lot of money, but yet that's the way they're supporting themselves. Most of the housing is geared for men, not for families, but families have to eat too. And it's because of the Department of Labor asks that let's say if you have men and women, you have to have separate showers, you have to have separate sleeping arrangements. So there's a lot into it, and it's not, it's for their good, but how are you going to separate a husband and a wife, and where do the children go? And so it's difficult for a family, and that's what we're dealing with, families. I was lucky enough to find this job that is so close to my heart, and they always thank me, but I should be thanking them for the opportunity to have me work with them, serve them, and work with their children. My birthday was Friday. I've got at least 4 or 5 calls from some of my migrant families, some that were out of the system already. They only qualify for 3 years if they don't move, and they remember your birthday. I think one of my children forgot my birthday. Not forgot it, but. So that's my story. And I hope that it'll help somebody recognize the need for the people that come here and not be so condescending or whatever. Next time you see somebody, even though you don't speak the language, say hello. It means a lot. It means a lot. Cut.